Welcome to The Explainer. I am so thrilled to have you here today because we are looking at something absolutely incredible. We're exploring this fascinating philosophy on what truly holds us back from success, and more importantly, how to break free from those invisible chains. Okay, let's dive into this, because the ideas we're looking at today literally have the power to completely reframe how you view your own potential.
I want you to honestly consider a question for a second. Think about everything you've achieved so far in your life. If you had your life to live over again, do you know deep down that you could do more than you've done so far? For almost all of us, the answer is an immediate, resounding yes. And that proves a vital point. Our past accomplishments, no matter how impressive they might look on paper, are really just the tip of the iceberg of our true potential. There is just so much more beneath the surface.
So what's actually stopping us? Well, when we think of failure, we usually picture taking this massive, risky swing and totally missing. We picture aiming way too high and coming up short. But actually, scratch that. That's not the reality. And this brilliantly illustrates the hidden barrier to success. Most people fail in life because they set their sights entirely too low, and they hit their target. Or even worse, they never even bother to aim at all. We play it safe, right? And by playing it safe, we pretty much guarantee that we'll never see what we are truly capable of.
To break out of this trap, you've got to set a massive goal. You need to dramatically increase your ambitions. But listen closely, because right here is where you need to be incredibly careful. You have to stop asking how. When you set a huge, life-changing goal, asking how you're going to achieve it right out of the gate is the ultimate barrier to entry. The absolute second you ask how, your mind goes on the defensive. It literally attacks your ambition. It starts whispering things like, well, you don't have the credentials, you don't have the money, you don't have the time. Just stop.
Our source material shares a really personal and, honestly, a deeply relatable anecdote about this exact trap. 14, that's the number of years the speaker says he completely wasted just trying to figure out the how. For 14 long years, he'd get inspired, he'd set a goal, and then immediately let his own mind attack him with doubts about his qualifications and the exact steps he needed to take. He basically let the how paralyze him for over a decade. But here is the truth of the matter. The how is, quite frankly, none of your business right now. Once you make the commitment, the how is going to naturally follow. The way will appear to you. You absolutely do not need to have every single step mapped out perfectly before you begin. You just need to take that very first step. And hey, if you realize later on that you're going in the wrong direction, guess what? You can always turn around, but you absolutely have to start.
And a huge part of starting is unlearning the limits that the world has placed on us. Let's trace the speaker's early life for a second, which honestly reads like a micro-hero's journey. In the 5th grade, he was officially labeled educable mentally retarded. By 8th grade, he'd failed again. And then came this absolutely crushing moment. A teacher asked him to solve a problem on the board, and he just froze. The whole class laughed at him. He internalized all those devastating labels and simply concluded, I can't, I'm slow. He completely accepted the boundary that society drew for him.
So the crucial point is what happened next. It was a moment of true liberation. That same teacher walked right up to him and delivered a reframing that changed the trajectory of his entire life. The teacher told him never to say that again, reminding him that someone else's opinion of him did not have to become his reality. Think about that. The teacher looked past who he was in that exact moment and saw who he could become. You have greatness within you, but you are never going to find it if you don't stretch. You don't actually know what your limits are, so you've kind of just got to start acting like you don't have any.
Now, even when we understand all of this, the journey is rarely a smooth ride. Imagine you're driving down the highway of life. You're moving forward, you're making good progress, but then things get tough. A storm hits. What do most people do? Well, they take the very nearest exit and they park. They just completely stop moving. And why do we park? Usually it's because we take a hit. Maybe it's a really harsh rejection, a devastating bankruptcy, or even a sudden severe illness. These are profound, incredibly valid struggles, right? And when they strike, the natural human instinct is to pull over to the shoulder. But the real tragedy here isn't just pulling over. It's that people hide. They don't even bother to turn on their emergency lights. They just sit there in the dark because they feel ashamed or totally defeated, and they don't want anyone to see them or offer any help.
The speaker knows this trap intimately because he fell right into it himself. After building a really successful career, his show was suddenly canceled. And he didn't just lose the show, he basically canceled himself.
He pulled over on the highway of life and he parked his car for 10 years. For a whole decade, he let one single, devastating no, one major setback, entirely define his identity. Crazy, right?
Listen, if you are parked on the side of the highway right now, you need to remember this. Do not let a setback become your identity. A setback is literally nothing more than a setup for a comeback. It is time to reach up, hit those emergency flashers, ask for some help, and merge right back onto the highway. You have so much more left in you.
Okay, so how do you actually do that? How do you merge back into traffic when you've been parked for so long? What's the real antidote to failure and rejection? The answer is relentless hunger. You have to want it so incredibly badly that giving up simply ceases to be an option. Hunger is the exact fuel that gets that engine running again. Let's move to and see how this builds in the real world. We can see the mechanics of this persistence in the speaker's own inspiring pursuit of becoming a disc jockey. So he approached a program director and was told no. What'd he do? He came back the next day, told no again. He just kept coming back until they finally made him the errand boy just to get him out of their hair. But he didn't just fetch coffee, no. He stood in the control room memorizing every single dial and button. He stayed hungry. And when a DJ got, let's just say, a little too celebratory on air one Saturday and couldn't finish the broadcast, he didn't call the backup. He called his girlfriend, told her to turn up the radio, and he literally talked his way right behind the microphone.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how it completely changes our relationship with rejection. Most of us, we treat the word no like a giant glaring red stop sign. It means halt, turn around, game over. But you have to start treating no as a vitamin. Every single rejection is actually a nutrient. It's strengthening you, it's teaching you, and it's bringing you one step closer to a yes. You are eventually going to win if you simply refuse to quit taking your vitamins.
Because at the end of the day, the stakes of quitting are just way too high. Listen to this absolutely powerful declaration. I refuse to die with the music still inside me. I refuse to die having never lived up to my true potential. And honestly, this is the ultimate bottom line of our explainer today. You have a unique song, you have a unique contribution to make in this world, and letting it fade away unplayed is the only true failure.
So how do we actually put this into practice today? Here are your clear, actionable takeaways to break free from those self-imposed limits. Step 1. Get hungry. Reconnect with that massive ambition of yours and let it fuel you. Step 2. Ask for help. Turn those emergency flashes on. Stop hiding your setbacks in the dark and lean on the people around you. And step 3, get back in the game. Put the car in drive, stop worrying about the how, and just take that very first step.
I want to leave you with this final, truly provocative thought. Imagine you are at the very end of your life. What dreams, what totally unused talents, what unacted upon ideas are standing around your deathbed angry because you never gave them life? You have something special. You have true greatness within you. Do not let those dreams die with you. Get hungry, stay hungry, and go live your dream. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I will catch you next time.